You'll definitely see this week that since we're actually here for a full week, Monday through Friday, that we will have an assignment each and every day this week. These assignments are graded for accuracy, and we do want to make sure that we're spending some time to attempt them and then asking any questions that we may need help on. And then lastly, I do have an adjustment to my enrichment schedule for this week. I have a meeting during enrichment on Wednesday, so I will not be available for extra help on Wednesday. But I will be available for extra help on assignments Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday of this week. So I'll be hanging out in the enrichment Google Meet. You're more than welcome to pop in between 11:35 and 12:15 and get help on any of the assignments that you have questions on. You don't have to stay the whole time. Once you get your question answered, if you're good to go, you're free to leave. Or even if you want to just say, hey, I want to work on the assignment right now. I don't have a question yet, but can I just hang out in the Google Meet in case I have a question or something like that? You're more than welcome to come in and do that too. But definitely we'll see that we're in the full swing of activities, assignments, having our first assessment, seeing grades going into the grade book this week. So we want to quickly start to get in on those habits that are going to make sure that we are successful. Anyone have any questions on our announcements today? Seem pretty straightforward. I'm pretty sure by now many of you are experts in our virtual program and virtual learning. So feel free to email me if you have any questions or concerns. I'm going to go over now to modules. Last week we had the first assignment, points, lines, and planes. You can see the notes in assignment 1 that is on your list now. I've got some extra ones on my list that are the ones that you see at the beginning of class, and then I switch over to the second one at the end of the class. I don't show you both of these though because they're really duplicate information, but it also does eliminate some of the confusion in Canvas. I know first semester when we first started in Canvas, it was confusing sometimes remembering where information was. And so I'm hoping that I've came up with a better procedure for y'all of being able to keep up with things in Canvas. But as you see now, you currently see assignment or notes number 3. So it says 003, Monday, January 8th, lesson 1, day 3, points, lines, and planes notes. So that's the link that I currently have in the chat right now from 116. If you click on that, you'll see all of the different links to different activities that we're going to be working on today, as well as some reminders, textbook information, and things like that. And by the end of class, I'll close this one out, and then I'll open up the assignment one, which will have all of this same information on it. The only difference is you'll actually have a link here now for this assignment down here on Delta Math. We're going to get signed into Delta Math a different way today, but do be aware that we may eventually have to come and change that if I get access to integrating Delta Math into our Canvas, which is what I want to do. But I will try and see if we have to give us a few minutes at the end of class to make sure that we can go ahead and already get set up in Delta Math and be good to go with getting to this assignment. So let's look back at our class presentation now. And I want to go ahead and start discussing, picking up where we left off with the lesson 1 points, lines, and planes from last week, and then adding to those notes and so forth. So let me switch over here so that we can start looking at those particular things. So last week in our notes, we made it through some of our undefined terms in geometry. We were able to start creating definitions for like a point, notation for a point. We had a definition for a line as well as notation for a line. And then we started talking about an intersection, and we were able to define a plane and use some of those characteristics of our plane to start to name a plane. So we did a lot of stuff in our notes yesterday with those points, lines, and planes. And what I want to do now is, let's look at this picture here. We'll start that in our notes today. And then we've got some more definitions that we'll do. So I'm going to go ahead and start on a new sheet of paper. Let's go ahead and title this Lesson 1, Day 3. And this is our points, lines, and planes. I'll go ahead and date this for Monday, January the 8th. And then I'm going to start with this picture. You do have access to this picture in the Google Slides if you need to look at that. How was Friday's assignment? Friday, we had that quizzes assignment. How did you do on that? See a thumbs up. Good. Anybody else? Was it easy? I see lots of nods and some more thumbs up. Perfect. Perfect. Anybody get some problems wrong, but then you were like, oh, I worked it again and we were good to go? Were you able to work it again? Good. See some heads shaking. Yes. Awesome. Quizzes did some updates, and through those updates, setting up the quizzes again looked very different. So I got confused on my side, and I wanted to make sure that y'all had access still to reworking those problems and things like that, because that's how you learn. I see lots of people who are able to go back and get a really good grade on this. Awesome, awesome, awesome sauce. All right, so let's just kind of quickly review a couple of things that show up in this particular picture right here. What are some points in this picture? Let me give you a little bit of specifics. Can you name a point on the horizontal plane? So remember, horizontals like flat. So what would be some points on that plane? Okay, remember, good. I love how you're using the word point, but I do want to be specific with the letter that you put after it. Make sure that it's a capital letter. When we're talking about points, we always need to make sure it is a capital letter. Awesome. Y'all are giving some great answers here. So I see point D in the chat is definitely on that horizontal plane. Someone said point B. Awesome. That's also on our plane. And then we've got someone who said point C, point A. Awesome. Great job. Y'all are clearly looking at this appropriately. I'll go ahead and put all of those answers. What about a point that's not on the horizontal plane? What would be a point that's not on the horizontal plane? I can see why someone might think point E is not on the horizontal plane, but it is. If I highlight our horizontal plane that we're focusing on, that would be this plane right here. And so point E appears that it is on that plane and not like underneath it or something. But I would definitely agree with point F, which is over the plane, and point G, that is under the plane. So both of those are good answers too. How can we name the horizontal plane? What would be a name for the horizontal plane? Let me check and see. Did we talk about this on Friday? Let me go back to our plane. Yeah, remember the notation says use the word plane with 3 non-collinear points that are on the plane. So let's go back to this picture. What would be a way to name our horizontal plane? Oh, thank you. That is a really good name right there. Plane C, oops, spell it right. CBE. Anybody got another name? Someone give me another name. Notice that the C, B, and E are not on the same line. They're non-collinear. What would be another group of 3 points on that horizontal plane that we could use? If you need to zoom in on that picture, remember you do have access to the Google Slides. And then you can go down to slide number 16 and you can zoom in on that picture if need be. Someone give me another name for that horizontal plane. I'll give you a hint. You could easily just take the previous answer and like change one letter. Ah, there we go. Oh, we got some good ooh, 2 good answers. Good. So we can also go with plane CDA. And then we can also go with plane EAC. Basically, we've got a lot of names for that horizontal plane. I'll go ahead and show you one that's not a good answer, though. Plane. I was hoping someone would say this and then we could talk about the wrong answer, but that's all right. If I took those 3 points that line up, I can't name the plane with that. If I do plane A, D, B, then you're like, well, hold on. Those 3 points are on the horizontal plane, but they're also on the vertical plane. And so then that wouldn't be a good name because you can't tell which plane we're talking about. So I like to kind of put those answers up there sometimes and then cross them out so that when you refer back to your notes and you're studying, you can be like, oh yeah, that doesn't work